Hello everyone, and this is my first video on the YouTube channel um, Nick's Café. Well, I'm drinking tea, not necessarily coffee, but the name Café is more like of referring to a place in which people can just talk and share thoughts about pretty much anything, but mostly I guess about reflections on society and history and things like that. Okay. Um, yeah, but mostly I drink tea. It's not that I despise coffee. I actually like it, but yeah, I drink tea mostly. But yeah, cafe because in the 18th centuries, in Italy especially, there were the cafes, the first cafes, but then everywhere in Europe, these places in which thinkers used to go to talk basically, and they used to drink coffee, but also tea. And so anyway, um, the first video, this one, is about freedom. I wanted to make few points about freedom in general, personal freedom, and yeah, yeah, that's it basically. I didn't really prepare anything. I was just talking to myself about it, and I was like, well, let's try to record it. Let's try to upload the first video on the YouTube channel. Uh, the video is horrible. The lighting is horrible. The background, the setup is horrible as well. But whatever. I mean, if I'll ever become a rich YouTuber, I doubt it. But neither I care. I will have a gorgeous setup. I promise you. I promise you. And so I don't want to cut anything. I don't want to edit anything. First of all, because I can't. But second, because I think it would be I wouldn't like it. I would just like to talk about something always in just one take. And yeah, my favorite YouTuber, I guess it's Lindy Beige. So I think he inspired me to do so. So if you ever watch this video, Lindy Beige, hi, thank you so much for what you do, and you kind of inspired me to do the same um, with my own content. So yeah, about freedom. So I would like to keep politics out of these as much as I can. I would like to talk about free, at least for this video, and at least for this video. It is obvious that I do it because of, well, reasons. But yeah, for this video, I'll try to keep politics um, away. I just put politics and also current situation in a corner and just talk about freedom in general. Okay, so the questions are, of course, what is freedom? Is freedom good or bad? And what degree of freedom is good for an enjoyable life in society? Um, so the first two questions may sound obvious, but they are not. The third sounds complex, and it is the most complex, but maybe it is less than the first two though. So the first two are very complex questions as well. What is freedom? Well, I think that freedom is one of the most divisive concepts of human history. And so, what is freedom? Is the ability to do whatever you want? Hmm. Well, whatever you want. What? Hmm. Let's make an example. For example, we could say the first man, the first humans. Let's say humans. Because if you say man, it sounds like you only want to talk about males. Man can also mean humans in general. Let's say humans though, so it's so the first humans, were they free? Were they free? Well, they didn't have. Let's hypothesize that the first humans. I mean, there was a time in which the first humans lived with no society at all. Outside of society, just yeah, just taking care of themselves, and a mate and their kids maybe, but nothing more than that. Mm, were they free? Well, they could go and potentially do whatever they wanted in a world, just in the nature world. But what could they really do? They just had to keep uh, looking for food, hunting maybe, fishing, uh, gathering, and then they had to make their own clothes. So use also the skins of what they hunted or whatever. So yeah, they were free to roam around, but they couldn't do really what they wanted. Or well, they probably they didn't want anything though, because they couldn't even think about something else. So it's really society that opens up more possibilities, and I would say that society also gives more freedom. Certainly, though, society takes some personal freedom because, and in it's the foundation of society and of a state, if you want, is that basically um, people sacrifice part of their freedom. And why do they do that? Well, it's very simple. Let's say I'm oversimplifying, but I mean it's what you can find these in many philosophers. Locke, I think, is well Locke and others. So basically, the fact is that let's say yeah, I'm a farmer, and I work my ass off all the year, every day for 12 hours a day in the fields, and because I also have to make my own tools and stuff like that, and just to get enough food to survive during the year. And then someone else um, decides that instead of doing that, he could just rob the other people. Like, he could make a couple of weapons, or maybe he was just born taller and tougher than the average guy, and yeah, could just go around and rob the poor people, the poor farmers. And let's say that he robs this bandit guy. He robs a couple, let's say 4 or 5 farmer guys, and at a certain point, these farmer guys say, "Wait, we are tired of getting robbed by that idiot. So let's do something about it." And what they do, well, they may simply say, well, who's the toughest guy between us? Oh, it's you? Okay. Well, from now on, you don't have to work on the fields anymore. Um, you're going to be our bodyguard, and you're basically just going around with carrying quarter staff or a mace or something, protecting us from the eventual attack of bandits. And we're going to pay you, and we're going to not to pay you, but to give you food basically without you have to work yourself. Okay. Well, cool stuff. And this oversimplified vision of the first social contract, or whatever, however you want to call it. Um, but also, yeah, from now on, I cannot, me farmer or me, social man of the first social contract. It means that also I cannot kill anyone. Uh, I would get punished myself, but at the same time, I get my life protected uh, by this kind of contract. But I don't want to explain this because there are certainly people and books and texts that explain this way better than me. I want to talk about something else. Actually, I want to talk more about freedom itself. So let's say so. But why do I say that? The social contract gives you back more than what it takes. So what social contract takes from you? It takes it takes from you the ability of kill someone and being unpunished. Um, but maybe you didn't want to do that regardless, because it's most of the people, I would say, wouldn't really want to kill people. I don't think the problem is being punished or unpunished, because even with the modern society and CSI and whatever, there are still people who kill, and the majority of people don't kill. But there are still people who kill. It's probably because, I don't know. It's probably because they have something. I don't know. They probably have something going inside them that's wrong. There are studies about it. There are there is criminology, there are psychology, psychiatry studying that, studying people, why people can kill someone else. Maybe I say that I wouldn't kill anyone. Maybe one day I will kill someone, and whatever. It's just fantasy right now. But anyway, so my point is, what do they sacrifice? Well, they sacrifice that, so the ability of killing other people and being totally unpunished, because there isn't anyone, there isn't a state, there isn't a justice system, there aren't policemen, there aren't judges, there isn't anything. There's just there is just, let's say, anarchy. I don't want to trigger any convinced anarchists, but yeah, I mean, um, let's say you I guess you guys mean what I you mean what I mean. Yeah, you understand what I mean. Sorry. It's just anarchy. It's basically just people roaming around, and if I find someone, I can just kill him and take his things. Just in a survival game, in a sandbox survival game. Oh, well, you have a nice hatchet and a nice armor. I'm gonna kill you and take it. Whatever. Um, so basically, you sacrifice that ability, and you sacrifice maybe some product of your job. In modern terms, taxes. You pay some taxes, So wait, what? Okay. Well, my screen went black. I should. You pay some taxes. Okay, but what you get back? What do you get back by paying taxes or and living in a society? Well, by living in a society and paying some taxes. Well, you get many things. You can get many things. So the basic things are protection and some other things like roads and some base services. This is the nucleus of a state, of a small, um, you know, contract, a small society. And then you can get many other features. Mm, for example, you could get education, healthcare, or you could get, well, even, you know, welfare helps in case you're very poor, things like that. Okay, but let's focus on the base things right now. Like for example, roads. Hmm? It's very base things. Yeah. Um, so people from some villages that are nearby but not but still quite far away from one each other. Uh, they're they're tired of just walking and carrying our things in the mud, and they say, why don't we build roads? Oh yeah, that's a great idea, let's build some roads. And roads are very helpful. They make people traveling faster, and so they also favor um, commerce and other things, and that's good, right? That's good, and so that's something that I think that we could say that humans living in a society, they can be more free than humans living in the natural state, which is kind of an anarchic state. Yes, you're free. You can take whatever you want. There is no private property. You can take that tree. You can claim an entire mountain. You can claim Mount Everest. But whatever you claim, you really have to defend it. And if you are by yourself, you cannot defend it very well. Think about a battle royale game. Again, I use gaming as metaphors, but you are by yourself. Um, so, but everyone is by themselves, and that's what makes battle royale kinds of game balanced. Let's say there are 100 players. They all want to kill each other. There's no alliances. There's no diplomacy. But what if someone eventually coalesce against you? Maybe, and that's what happens, I guess, in those kinds of games. And that's what happened in history when someone, because it's true that single individuals eventually united themselves in society more or less complex, but still nowadays the relationship between states is they are kind of anarchic, and so it's still kind of a battle royale. And the fact is that when someone is too big, well, he can use his bigness to impose its rules against everyone else. Impose the rules on other, or they could get all the other small fishes could coalesce against the big fish. That could happen. So let's say you are in this nature state, and you claim you claim everything. You claim rivers, hills, mines, forests, and then you're by yourself and you cannot like defend and cover everything, right? But a group of people could say this is our river and only we can fish here. This is our plain, and we cultivate here, and whatever we farm, whatever we get from our farming labor, it's ours. It's not like you can come and grab what we farmed with hard work, you know? So yeah, living in society, I think, gives more freedom than the freedom it takes from you. Okay, so now the question is freedom good or bad? And what degree of freedom is good or bad? Someone could say, well, um, restricting some freedom to you to humans, to people uh, that make our society, restricting some of the freedom brought very large good. Um, so we could say, why don't we restrict more their freedom? It could bring to even a larger good, you know? Because yeah, okay, now people don't kill each other anymore. They pay taxes. Sometimes they don't want to pay them, but if you have uh, like a good justice system, you can make them pay, or anyway check better, and but still they are stupid. Still people, they are stupid. Um, Still they want to do things that they are bad, and things that harm other people, and things that harm themselves as well. So this is this is one of the biggest points, I guess, because should, like, for example, a state intervene when someone wants to harm themselves? That's a big question. That's a very big question. That it's very complex, and I don't want to talk about it right now. But let's stay on the. So let's talk about things that could potentially harm other people, um, in some direct or indirect way. Okay. So how much should the state, how do you say, grasp, wait, I have to find, yeah, like intensify their grip, grasping people and their freedom. So again, so my start was that, so we restricted some freedom to everyone, and we got a greater good, like a society in which people don't kill each other anymore, and we got some roads, we got some aqueducts, we got water for everyone, we got stuff like that. And so I don't want to talk about taxes, because yeah, you could just say, let's raise the taxes so we get more services. And that can be fine, if there's no corruption in, because the problem is that state eventually needs politics, politicians to run, and corruptions will arise, and so part of taxes will eventually get lost. But I don't want to talk about that, because that's another point. You know, mm, yeah, raising taxes certainly restricts people freedom, or certain people freedom, and but it's gonna also give more freedom to other people, and trying to equalize society. I don't want to talk about that though. I don't want to talk about that topic. I want to talk about other kinds of freedom, like for example freedom of speech. And freedom of speech is one of the, so freedom of speech doesn't really have to do anything with taxes, or with freedom of speech means that I can say whatever I want, basically, even if it's offensive to other people. Then, if those people feel themselves hurt and offended, they could of course uh, sue me, or whatever, but yeah, that's the concept. So I want to talk about those kinds of freedom. So when the state, or well, the society, starts deciding what's good and what's wrong, and be what could potentially harm other people, and this is the point of the video, and restrict other people's freedom. This is the point. Why? Because, so basically we live together because we want this supreme good, I guess, that is freedom indeed. And so we did sacrifice a portion of our own freedom to get more. And that's why but this is risky, because this can get addicting, because now we could say, well, yeah, now I restricted your ability to kill someone else, and steal all their goods, or even just steal all their goods without killing, but still stealing is bad, robbing other people is bad. And so, but I could say that now I want you to, for example, I want you to practice your religion, because your religion is bad for the state. Or I don't want you to talk bad about that person or that category of people, or I don't want you. So that could happen. And so, what do we do? Do we decide case by case? Do we put the general rule? Do we make a bunch of different rules about many specific cases? What do we do? And what should we do? And what? So this is the point. So I think that my original second and third questions, which were, is freedom good or bad, and what degree of freedom, it's kind of the same question. Of course, is it good or bad? I guess we all agree on the answer that okay, if we say freedom is bad, we don't have to continue. We don't have to continue, so we make a totalitarian state. We agree on it. We agree on making a totalitarian state, and we live in it with no freedom, with curfews, with no freedom of speech, of press, of religion, or anything. We decide the base rules. This is the religion. This is our goals as a society, and that's it, pretty much. Um, Unfortunately, this is not just fantasy. There have been examples in history. So if we say freedom is bad, we don't have to continue. It's just easier under this point of view, of course. I think we wouldn't want to live in certain situations. But anyway, if we say freedom is good, well, okay, freedom is good. Yeah, but up to what degree? And especially, the problem is that this can be a dog trying to eating his tail, you know, dog biting his tail, because indeed, if freedom is good, then I have to preserve freedom, but to do so, I may have to limit more freedoms, and so on and so forth. So, what do? Either we mathematically try to find the right balance. So, what is the least freedoms that we can restrict and limit to get the maximum of freedom that we can get, or otherwise what? Well, this is the hard question. But the problem is that once we start doing this, how do we stop? Because when we start saying, "Oh, we should restrict that right, that freedom to ensure more freedom," then we can, yeah, but you know what? There's also this thing that could be harmful, and so we want to restrict this one too, and 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 eventually we would transform our state in something that it's very different from our starting point, and without even realizing. So yeah, I just want to leave the question open. I don't want to say my opinion, not in this video at least. But yeah, that's yeah. I think it's enough. It's more than half an hour, and I think that's it. There is a lot to think about already. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much if you watch me, if you watched all the video, and see you next time for more videos. Okay, bye.